Do you ever lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how your life ended up here? Do you ever feel the crushing weight of regret? Mistakes replaying in your head like a broken record, whispering, "It's too late. You've wasted too much time. You'll never start again." If you've ever felt that way, this story is for you. Because sometimes, all it takes is one story to remind us that failure is not final, and that starting over is always possible. There was once a young man whose life had fallen apart piece by piece. He wasn't a bad person. He wasn't lazy. He simply got lost somewhere along the way. His days blended into each other. Long, lonely walks through empty streets, returning to an apartment that felt more like a prison than a home. The silence was unbearable. His nights were filled with scrolling endlessly through a glowing screen, chasing distractions, drowning out the voice inside that kept asking, "What are you doing with your life?" He had dreams once, big dreams. He thought he would become someone people respected, someone who mattered. But every failed attempt, every wrong decision, every missed chance stacked on top of him like bricks until he was buried beneath the weight of his own disappointments. He felt broken, useless, like a man standing at the edge of a cliff, too afraid to jump, too tired to climb back. And yet, life has a strange way of speaking to us when we least expect it. One evening, after another day wasted in meaningless distractions, the young man left his room and wandered aimlessly through the city streets. The air was heavy, the sky painted with the fading colors of dusk. He walked until the pavement gave way to dirt roads, until streetlights were replaced by stars, until he found himself at the edge of a forest. He didn't know why he entered. It just felt like the only place where he could breathe. The forest was silent, but not empty. The wind whispered through the trees, and the ground beneath his feet seemed alive with unseen energy. He walked deeper, his mind heavy with the thought that maybe his life was already over, even though he was still young. Maybe he had wasted too many years to ever begin again. But then, as if guided, he stumbled upon a tree. It was broken, its trunk cracked, branches torn, scarred by storms. At first glance, it looked dead, but when he looked closer, he saw something extraordinary. Out of the shattered bark, new shoots had begun to grow, tiny, green, defiant against the odds. Life had returned where death had seemed certain. And in that moment, something inside him stirred. He realized the tree didn't give up after it broke. It simply began again, quietly, patiently, without asking for permission. Maybe he could too. He continued his walk, deeper into the wilderness. Soon he reached a river. The water was restless, carving its way through the earth. It wasn't powerful because it was fast, but because it never stopped moving. Stone by stone, it shaped the land, proving that persistence, not perfection, creates change. The young man stood there watching the endless flow and thought of his own life. Maybe he didn't need to fix everything at once. Maybe he just needed to keep moving, one small step at a time. But the journey was not easy. He walked for days, through mountains that loomed like giants, through caves that swallowed him in darkness, through nights where fear pressed down on him like a heavy weight. Each trial mirrored his own struggles, the mountains symbolizing the obstacles he thought were impossible to climb, the caves echoing the dark doubts inside his mind, the cold nights reminding him of his loneliness. Yet, with each step, something shifted. The more he walked, the lighter he felt. It was as if nature itself was teaching him lessons his heart had long forgotten. He learned that dawn always follows the darkest night. After hours of stumbling through the black silence of the cave, he emerged to see the horizon painted in gold and crimson. The sun rose unstoppable, no matter how long the night had lasted. And he realized that his own darkness too would not last forever. He learned that failure is not the end. Just like the broken tree grew again, so could he. His mistakes did not define him. They prepared him. They gave him roots that could anchor him when he decided to rise once more. He learned that strength is not about speed or brilliance, but consistency. Just like the river carved valleys through stone, his small, steady actions could carve a new life if only he kept moving. And slowly, he began to believe again. The young man started to walk with a new purpose. His steps grew firmer, his shoulders lighter. The voice in his head, the one that always whispered "you're too late," began to fade. In its place came a new voice, quiet but steady. "It's not over. You can start again." Days turned into weeks, and his journey became a reflection of the life he was rebuilding. Every challenge he faced in the wilderness mirrored the battles he had fought within himself, and every time he kept going, he proved to himself that he was not as broken as he once believed. And here is the truth he finally understood. Life does not care how many times you have fallen. Life does not keep count of your mistakes. Life only asks you one thing: will you rise again? Maybe you've wasted years. Maybe you failed more times than you can count. Maybe you feel broken, forgotten, left behind. But just like the tree that grew again, just like the river that carves its way through stone, just like the dawn that follows the night, your story is not finished. You can start again. It won't be easy, it won't be instant, and it won't always feel worth it. But step by step, day by day, if you choose to rise instead of quit, you will rebuild. And one day, you will look back and realize that the very things that once broke you became the reason you grew stronger. So, if you're listening to this, take this story as your sign. This is not the end. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are still here, and that means your life can still begin again. All it takes is one decision, one step, one choice to rise. And maybe, years from now, someone else will hear your story and find the courage to start again too. So ask yourself, will you stay buried beneath regret, or will you rise and live the life that's still waiting for you? Because no matter how many times you have fallen, you can start again today. If this story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs hope. And remember, your story isn't over. Every single day is a chance to begin again. Like this video, subscribe to Life Lessons Library, and let's walk this journey together, step by step, towards the life we were meant to live.